What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 2, and today we're going to be talking about breastfeeding and afterbirth. Now, I had made a decision to breastfeed prior to conceiving. However, if you would have asked me like 10 years ago, would I breastfeed? I would have been like, hell to the no. I'm not losing my titties. My titties are beautiful. They're nice and perky, and all of my friends that have breastfeed, them shits are saggy and deflated, and I ain't trying to have that. Well, my ignorant ass at that point, I just wasn't mentally on a level where I can really understand the gift that we were given. I really thought like it was an option, like either formula or breastfeed, so you choose one. And don't get me wrong, it is somewhat, but not really. I don't feel like God gave us milk in our boobs just for shits and giggles. Like, obviously there's a reason for that. So after obviously growing up and maturing and doing my research and obviously changing my eating habits, I knew when I got pregnant that I would breastfeed for sure. Now the crazy thing was that the one question that everybody always asks you is, well, how long are you gonna breastfeed for? And I basically, in my head, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna say till 2 years old, and we'll pretty much go from there. Unless they wean off before that, but for the most part, at minimum, I would love to breastfeed for 2 years. And when you say that, people really look at you like, 2 years? Are you gonna have a grown-ass baby on your titty? And it's like, it's just really, really sad how ignorant our people are. We've been conditioned to just take the shortcut in everything in life, and we're just in this microwave society that you shame these women that choose to breastfeed for 2, 3, 4 years old. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, me personally, I said till 2 because I just felt like, unless say my child would have wanted to breastfeed after that, I probably would have pumped, because as a mom, after some time, you just kind of just want your body back and you don't want a baby on you. That's just real talk. But yeah, so I made a decision to breastfeed, and I was stuck in it. I was like, I was like, I'm gonna breastfeed. This is what I'm gonna do. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. My child is not getting any formula, yada yada yada. So to my surprise, when I give birth, my son is not able to latch. So now, not only that, I have my milk production that is not fully coming out yet. So they're just teaching me, like my midwife was teaching me how to like just squeeze out the colostrum. I'm trying to get him to latch. He won't latch on my boob. I'm completely stressed out at this point. And then my midwife proceeds to tell me that my son is tongue-tied, which I don't know any of this. I've never heard of any of this stuff. Like, this is all new to me. It's my first baby. So I'm like, what do you mean? So she explains it to me, and she basically says that I have to get it clipped, and that I have to find a pediatrician, not a pediatrician, an orthodontist, ASAP, and get it clipped. So at this point now, also, my son needs to eat. Obviously, he was just born. So my midwife's assistant was actually still breastfeeding. So she ended up leaving me some milk so that I could feed my son through a little spoon throughout the night, and then just try to get as much colostrum and I can get out until the next day that I would find an orthodontist to clip it so he can latch on. Now, I gave birth on a Thursday. It was June 30th, and this is now July 4th weekend. So I am trying to call every damn orthodontist in my area, and every single one is away because of July 4th weekend. So I am super stressed out, and finally we find one. The appointment was like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We go, we get it clipped. It was like really, really quick procedure. They just like took out something from underneath his tongue, like a little piece. And then I get back home, and I try to get him to latch. He's not latching. I try to get him to drink through the bottle. He's drinking through the bottle better than he's drinking through my boob. So that was helpful. But now at this point, my milk is still not coming down. Now, granted, it would have came down faster had he been able to latch on me. But pumping is totally different. So as much as I'm sitting there and I'm pumping and I'm pumping and I'm pumping, it's like I'm barely getting anything out. And that was super scary because now I'm just like, oh my God, what if I have to give my son formula? Like, it's just so bad. So now the little bit of milk that I had that my midwife's assistant had left is now coming to almost an end. Now I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I am just confused. I don't know what to do. I don't want to give my child formula, and I have no milk coming down. So I speak to my midwife, and she's like, you have two options. If you know somebody else who's breastfeeding, that they can donate some milk to you, or you're just gonna have to give him formula until your milk comes down. So I thought about it, and I had a friend of mine, Brandy. So I am just completely nervous to call her, because how do you call somebody to be like, hey, can you give me some of your breast milk? Like, yeah, freaking awkward. So, you know, I don't know what to do, but the truth is, when you become a mom, like that minute right there, like that mom, I don't give a fuck, your pride just goes out the window, because you're gonna do whatever you gotta do for your child. So as embarrassed as I was, and it took me forever to pick up that phone to call her, I did it. And I remember calling her, and I explained to her the entire situation. And then I said, do you think you would be able to donate some milk? And I remember her words, and she said, of course, it takes a village. Why am I crying? And it was crazy because it was so, I remember she was like, I'm gonna pump right now. My husband had to go to actually LAX to pick up someone from the airport. So, you know, she's like, I'm gonna pump some right now, so when Greg comes, you know, you have fresh milk, and then I'm gonna give you some I have in the freezer. And I mean, this mommy village is super, super, super important to every single mother, because I don't even know what I would have done had I not had that at that point. So I'm so grateful. I love you, girl. I'm so grateful for that, because you have no idea the stress it is to want to do something so bad and feel like you're not going to be able to do that. So she ended up sending the milk, and that was on a Friday. By Saturday, my milk actually started coming down, and he started to latch on. It was getting like probably like maybe 5 minutes, and then it got more to like 10. So he was on and off. So what I was doing was I was giving him milk through the bottle, and then anytime he could latch onto me, I would have him latch onto me. So he was breastfeeding he would breastfeed on me, and then I would give him the bottle, and I kept doing that all day Saturday. And then I was also afraid that if I gave him too much of the bottle, that then he wouldn't want to be on my boob. So that was another stress. So what I decided to do was that Sunday, I dedicated that entire day to breastfeeding. And when I tell you that was the most stressful day ever, I remember laying in that bed the whole entire day. And he would latch on, and then he would get off, and it would be like 10 minutes, and then it would be sometimes 5 minutes, and then it was 20 minutes. And it progressed, and it was going good, but it was so painful. I was so exhausted. Sleep deprivation is crazy. The first couple of days, or the first month really, when you first give birth. And I spent that entire day, and I will never forget, it was about 9 o'clock at night. My husband was going to the store to get me like some shirts and things like that. And I remember calling him because Tristan was on my boob, and it was like 30 minutes straight, and I was like, yes, you know what I mean? Like, he got it. And after that, it was a smooth ride from there, for the most part. He got it, you know, I was nursing for some time. And I nursed my son till he was about 20 months. Yeah, and he actually weaned off on his own, which I was surprised because he was like addicted, and I thought it was gonna be like hell to like get him off, but he actually pretty weaned off on his own. And it also, I had also gotten pregnant with my daughter as well, so I hear that sometimes your milk changes. And but at this point, even when I got pregnant, he was really nursing like morning, night, and like a nap time nurse, so it wasn't too much. He was eating a lot of food by that time. But yeah, so that's breastfeeding. Now I want to just say this because there's a lot of sensitive ass fucking people on the internet. This is not knocking anybody who chooses not to breastfeed. You know, like I'm always gonna say, you gotta do what works for you. That was something very important to me, and that's what I chose to do. If there's sometimes women that, you know, for whichever reason, there's so many that are unable to breastfeed, and it happens, you know what I mean? And you gotta do what you gotta do to feed your baby, you know? So if formula it is, then formula it is, you know? I know I always get asked like, what's the best formula? And I'll be honest, I don't know, because I've never had to do that. So I've never had to research that, since it was never like an option for me. I never literally looked into it. So I would just say do your homework, find what works best for your child, you know, because sometimes children are allergic to certain things. Also know that if your child is, breaking out in their skin for whatever reason, you know, out of nowhere, it's something that they're eating. So let's say you're just like exclusively breastfeeding and your child ends up with a rash. That happened to me actually one time. Something you ate is causing that, because everything that you see from the outside, your skin is the largest organ in your body, is coming from the inside out. That's the way it works. So for example, my son was 9 months. I remember I went to New York and I had never drank soda. I mean, I don't even know the last time I drank soda, to be honest, but I never had soda during my pregnancy. Not one time, not at all. Sorry. And I never had like candy, like, you know, just like a lot of junk. I just didn't. So I went to New York, and New York is just, I don't know, I love New York. It's my hometown, don't get me wrong, but it could just suck you in negative ways. So I was in New York, I remember, and my mother-in-law just be having all the like the crazy snacks and all that stuff like that, and soda. So I went ahead, and I remember I drank a soda and I had some candy, and the next day my son broke out with an entire rash on his chest and his back. And I cannot begin to tell you like what a horrible mom I felt. Like, I was like, I am the fucking worst mom in this world right now. Like, what did I do to you? I remember running to the store, getting a bunch of water. I went to a juice spot. I bought a few juices for the day. I barely ate any food that day. I was just like juicing and drinking so much water. And the next day it was completely gone. So it just goes to show you that you have it's a lot of pressure when you're nursing, you know, but you also have a lot of control, you know, and it takes a lot of discipline. Trust me, it's not easy at all. It's very, very hard, because I just feel like when you're nursing, it's as if you're pregnant too, because you have to be so conscious of what you're putting in your body, what you're doing, how much stress you have. Like, all these things play a factor as you're nursing your child. So it's super, super important that you're conscious of that. And that whole experience just showed me like, wow, like I have full control of this baby and what can happen to them. And so he was fine afterwards. But yeah, like, just know that if something is going on in their skin, like it has to do with what they're eating. So if you are going to give them formula and you start to see a lot of times children, you see like eczema and things of that nature, it's gonna go back to the formula. So there's something in that formula, so you have to look at those ingredients. You have to research the ingredients. You have to like Google this shit. Like Google is your best friend for everything. Like if you reading these ingredients and you don't know what the hell that shit means, Google that shit and find out what are these things inside your, like what you're feeding your child. That's very, very important. I think sometimes we just follow these doctor's orders or things like that, and at the end of the day, you have to do your own homework and be diligent in getting the information when it comes to whatever you're putting into your child's body. That's just period. Don't just follow blindly what anybody says, especially a doctor, because this is not knocking, doctors, but at the same time, we have to understand that they are programmed to a specific, like model, and they have to follow these instructions and this protocol. And they're given these things just to give to you, and sometimes they don't even know, unfortunately. They haven't done their research on it. So it's your job to do that because you are the parent. I need people to really, really remember that you are the parent. So when it comes to breastfeeding, just please do your homework. Formula, just please do your homework. I had chose to breastfeed my children exclusively, at least up to 6 months. And then I'll have another video where I'll go into like what I fed them afterwards and things of that nature. But yeah, so breastfeeding is a very, very beautiful, beautiful journey. It's very, very hard for any mom that is out there who's looking to breastfeed, who is breastfeeding. Please just have patience. It gets better, it gets easier. I promise you it does. And also one really, really important thing, if at any point you feel like you can't do it anymore, you just want your body back, which is totally understandable, it's okay. Like, do not feel guilty about that. I need women to know that. Do not feel guilty about that, because if you don't feel okay, then it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Like, you have to mentally be like literally there. But if at any point, because I felt like that at sometimes, don't get me wrong, I was like, I can't do this no more. I remember telling my husband, like, I don't want a baby on me. I just want to be just me. And and you get these moments, and then afterwards I would feel like super guilty, and I'd be like, no, I feel bad now. But if you really, really feel that way, and it's something you feel strong about, and you don't want to do this anymore, that's totally okay. Like, the mom guilt is so fucking real, and we do it every time to ourselves. I know I do it to myself so much, and I have to stop myself. So yeah, don't feel guilty even if you choose not to breastfeed, Hold on, because my child. Yes, Tristan.
What happened to YouTube?
What happened with the YouTube?
It's not working.
It's not working? Okay. All right, guys, I'm back. Something's wrong with TV. I don't know. Whatever. So if you hear my son, he's right here playing right now, but I gotta do what I gotta do, right? Because if not, you ain't never gonna get these videos, I'm telling you. I'm actually in his playroom. That's why I'm in this little ass chair. So yes, what were we talking about? We were talking about mom guilt, and if you choose not to breastfeed, it is okay. Make whatever decision makes you feel comfortable, makes you happy, and just do your homework. That's the best advice I can give you. Do your homework. Okay. After birth, let's get into afterbirth right now, because afterbirth is pretty intense. I feel like I wasn't prepared for what happens to you after you give birth. It's kind of like this illusion of like, after you pop this baby out, you're like, you're back and everything is all good. And that's such like, it's so, it's just unrealistic, because it's not true. After having a baby, it changes you. It just does. Tristan, can you close that door for me, please?
Okay.
Close the door.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry. So feel like it changes you, especially.
These are my Legos.
You want your Legos?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta give him Legos, guys.
Okay. Okay. I got it.
All right, try to be quiet, okay? Mommy's making a video.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry for all this interruption. Look at my hair's crazy. So afterbirth is pretty intense because there's so much that goes on emotionally that a lot of people don't talk about. I know you hear about like postpartum depression and that kind of stuff, but there's just different levels to it. You know, some women go through some intense postpartum. Like, although I didn't go through it to the degree of a very like postpartum depression. I did go through my own just postpartum. I don't even know what to call it, but it was more of like I felt like my body felt just I don't know how to describe it, but I was so self-conscious of my body. Not only that, some women, which I experienced unfortunately, your bladder is completely off. So like if I sneeze, I twinkle. If I laugh too much, I twinkle. If I jump, I twinkle. I mean, if I yell or I get aggressive or something like that, I'll twinkle. Like, do you know how self-conscious and embarrassing that can be? Like, I'm being so honest with y'all. It's so like, as a woman, it's like that's the last thing you want, you know, as anybody really, but there was that, there was just physically I felt so ugly. Then my hair started falling out. I went through postpartum hair loss. That was another thing that made me super self-conscious. So it was like so many things were happening afterwards that I was just not prepared for. And I wish that people would talk about this more because I guess you wouldn't feel as like isolated or alone, like you're the only one going through this. And then sometimes you just feel fucking crazy. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I would literally feel so crazy. Like my son at times would catch these tantrums that he would literally turn blue and faint on me. Like, I'm not lying. Like he would be like 7, 8 months doing this. Like, it was so bad, and I would be so stressed out. I would cry so much because I didn't know what to do. And then you feel guilty, like, am I doing something wrong? Did I pass on something to him? Like, I'm just thinking of a bunch of stuff. It's 11, yeah. You know, it's so many things that go through your mind, you know. Your sexual drive is just off, and more so because I think for me personally, it was more of I just felt self-conscious about myself because my husband.
It's the number 1.
Okay, puppy. Because of my own personal insecurities. Because Tristan. Because he would always make me feel like I was the most beautiful person in this world. But because I didn't feel that way, it was off. You know what I mean? Not only that, you have a baby on your boob all day. So the last thing you want is anybody touching your titties afterwards. You're just like, nah, not right now. Stop, Tristan. So, Tristan, don't do that. Take that out. Don't do that. You know better than that. So yeah, it was just so much that I went through. Then also, not only that, you put so much pressure on yourself to go back to who you were. And this is what I've learned, is that you're never gonna be who you were. Like, that shit is out the window. You're never gonna be that person again. Let it fucking go. I'm telling you right now. Because that is the shit that drives us crazy. It's trying to go back to this life that you had before the baby with the baby now there. And it's not gonna happen. Stop throwing them. It's not gonna happen. This what I'm talking about. This is the shit in parenting that pisses you off. When you be like, don't do something, and they just continue doing it. Didn't I just say don't do it?
Well, yeah.
No, I said don't do it, so don't do it. So anyways, so where was I? Because it just make you lose your whole freaking train of thought.
Why not? Wait, I'm building Lego.
Okay, go build your Legos then.
Okay, I'm building.
I don't know what I was talking about. I totally forgot. I'm sorry.
Wait, I'm building
So
Lego.
it's just gonna be raw because everybody time to be fucking cutting, doing whatever. You're gonna get what you're gonna get. I'm telling you. Yes, about trying to go back to who you were. We need to let that go because that is what is driving all of us women crazy. We have to just embrace that it is a new life we have. It is a new body we have. And that's just what it is. And we have to just live in that moment and stop trying to recreate this old life with this new one because it's gone. I also put so much pressure on myself on, you know, getting fit again because I was someone that was super, super fit, always working out. So I put this unrealistic fucking pressure on myself that I would be at the gym by this and I would be fit by this time in my body and I'll be this and that. Bullshit. Because as much as I tried to go to the gym and I had tried to work out and do everything, the truth was I mentally wasn't there. Like I was not there. Like my mind was just like, I kept forcing myself and I would just go into this this mode where I would just be so sad and so disappointed in myself and so defeated. Like I didn't accomplish anything, you know, like there was things I set myself up like as far as work and I wouldn't accomplish it and I would feel like pure freaking shit. And then I realized like I need to let all of this go and just listen to my body. Like you have to listen to your body because your body will tell you when it's ready. Now it's fucking social media, not snapback bullshit, not anybody else because their body went back. That's beautiful that their fucking body went back to normal. Good for you, hooray, you get a cookie. You know me, I have my little 2-3 month purge for a little while, you know what I mean? And then I feel like I only lose my weight because of how I eat. Yeah, I pretty healthy for the most part, you know, so that's the only reason why like the baby weight I lose it pretty fast. But as far as me being active, I wasn't. It took me till my son was 10 months to me actually like feel like, okay, I'm ready to work out, to be in the gym. And then when I did it, I was consistent. I felt great. I didn't feel like it was forced. 10 months that took, like 10 months, excuse me. And here I felt like at 3-4 months I was gonna be up in there like lifting all these weights. And don't get me wrong, some women can do it. If at that point you feel good, by all means go ahead, you know. But my whole point is do not set up false expectations on yourself just because of society and wanting to prove something to this world or to other women. Like fuck all that shit. Just be yourself. Embrace that moment with that baby. That period in the beginning is so it goes by so fast. So instead of worrying about like posting all day on social media that you're working out and you're getting this and showing your body, just fucking enjoy that baby, enjoy that moment, enjoy that experience. It doesn't last at all. All that other stuff you'll have time for later. But yeah, just know like any woman who's looking to have a baby, I'm not here trying to scare you. Any woman who's pregnant, I'm not here trying to scare you. What I'm trying to do is give you the real fucking deal because nobody talks about this stuff. So it's after birth, you don't feel like yourself. That doesn't mean that you're gonna go into like a deep depression, but you just in general don't feel like yourself, or you feel like you're not accomplishing anything or you're not doing enough. Don't ever feel like that. You're doing amazing. You're doing great. Don't put pressure on yourself. Live in that moment. Enjoy the experience, and and have that mommy village. Call on your mommy village. It is so important because trust me, every single mother will make you feel so damn normal because we're all going through the same shit. If you see any mother that it kind of gives me a red flag if I see women just acting like they're cool and just moving around. And I'm not saying that they gotta sit there and be all mopey. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is like, If any woman's like, nah, I feel good, I don't feel nothing, it's just, to me, it's a bunch of bullshit. Because mentally, something happens after you have a baby, and it's just what it is. Even if you're not nursing, like, just something happens after you have a baby. The whole experience of having a baby, of being responsible for another human being. This person depends on you for everything. Like, that's a lot that you have to mentally shift.
I'm using Lego.
Okay, I'm almost done. You know, so just yeah, that's the best thing I can give to y'all about that. And we're gonna go more into a bunch of other stuff as the episodes go. The next episode, you hear me? Episode you're gonna be checking out, I will be talking about Kaylani's birth, my second home birth. And it was a very different birth, but the beginning, I had a rough time in the beginning, and I'll share that with you guys next time. You want to get in the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured. Come here. Say hi.
Hi.
I love you. Bye. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.